YouTube! The Promised Neverland is a welcome addition to the Shonen Jump series lineup that has taken the world of anime by absolute storm. This anime and its main protagonist flexes their preteen muscles and have shown that you don't need gods or Hadouken lasers to be a top-tier shonen anime as it pertains to story writing. Now, if you're a fan of the genre of mystery or thriller, suspense, and horror, then this is the anime and this is the manga that you should really be invested into. Honestly, the last time I have felt this type of way of a shonen anime was Death Note. So if you're a fan of that specific genre and a Death Note-like anime, then The Promised Neverland is going to be something that is for you, and we welcome you to the community. Now let's talk about it. The first season of The Promised Neverland is best described as a quiet storm. Now this is a disclaimer. I have to talk about the first episode of the anime. There is no way around it. If I could, I would, but literally it is the entire plot going forward for the rest of the anime. Alright, so I'd recommend reading chapter 1 of the manga and coming back to the video to get the full review, or you can watch episode 1 on Crunchyroll. With that being said, if you've already read chapter 1 or watched episode 1, or you just don't care, then let's continue. Season 1 of The Promised Neverland shows the quiet rivalry of Norman, Ray, and Emma having an internal war against Isabella, who is their quote-unquote mother, because Norman, Ray, and Emma, they are orphans, okay? They live in an orphanage, a big-ass mansion. Isabella is the mother of the orphanage that they have grown up with their entire lives. They only know this orphanage. Now, when it is discovered, the true nature behind their orphanage is nothing more than a farm that is designed to raise them up in order for them to become food for a demonic race of intellectual beings, right? Now, the reason I called it a quiet storm was because Norman, Ray, and Emma are the oldest and smartest of the orphans, all right? There are 38 in total orphans after episode 1. And because they know of this, they have to come up with plans to escape together from the orphanage before they get shipped off to become food. Now, there are 4 main problems that they face, okay, in the first season of The Promised Neverland. The first being, there is a giant wall that surrounds this place, all right? And I'm talking about like Attack on Titan's type of giant wall that surrounds this orphanage, right? They have a good amount of space to, run around and, play, and, they have a good amount of space. You can't even see the wall from the orphanage's house, all right? So you have to go a good distance before you get to the wall. The second problem that the main protagonist faces is that Norman, Ray, and Emma are the only kids that know about the orphanage, Isabella, and the demons. The third problem that they face is Isabella, their mom. She knows that they know about the demons and the orphanage and its true purpose, okay? But because these kids are a valuable food source, almost considered a delicacy, she can't kill them, right? You would think, oh, they know she has to kill them now. No. She's not allowed to kill them because to the race of creatures that she is breeding them for, essentially, they are their food. You can't just kill them. All right, and that brings me to the fourth and their biggest problem that they face, time. These kids are on somewhat of a schedule. I don't want to give too much away, but it's basically a schedule. And Emma, being a classic main shonen protagonist, she doesn't want any of her family to die or be left behind during the escape, so they have to find a way to sneak 38 people out of a mansion. How? Please tell me how. Imagine you and all of your siblings trying to sneak out of the crib all at the same night. Who's gonna cover for who? Literally, this worked my anxiety the entire first season, all right? Because I'm just sitting there like, you can't save everybody. Maybe if they were all around the same age as Emma, Ray, and Norman, who are all 11 years old, but they have like newborn infants, which all they do is cry, eat, sleep, and shit themselves. They're very needy is what I'm saying. But look, I digress, all right? I was getting off track. Those are the 4 main problems that Norman, Ray, and Emma faced in season 1. Now, what you have is Isabella, the mother, and the kids in this back and forth exchange of a quiet rivalry between Isabella and the children. It has you glued to your screen with every single episode. There are very few animes that I can just get lost in to where I finish the season and not know that I'm done with the season until I realize that there's nothing more to continue on. Both sides have to work as fast as they can while also staying under the radar as to not alert the other children or the headquarters that Isabella has to report to regarding these children. Like I said earlier, Norman, Ray, and Emma's biggest challenge is time that they are racing against in season 1. This is literally a ticking time bomb before another child is going to be shipped off to be eaten, and you almost feel placed in that orphanage with Ray, Norman, and Emma as they come up with the plans after plans to try to outwit Isabella and come up with a strategy to escape. But not only escape, but survive, because it's not enough to just get away, but to also live. Now, they have never seen the outside world before, so they don't know what is on the other side of the wall. We don't know either. We never see we see that it's trees and stuff, like additional trees and more forest. It looks like they're based in a forest, but we haven't seen a civilization. We haven't even seen another human being on the other side of the fence, at least. This is a lot deeper than what meets the eye at face value. You can't take this for face value because there's too many twists and turns, and I absolutely love that about a series, and it's been something that has been lacking in the shonen genre for so long. Everything in a shonen anime up until this point for a long time was very predictable. It is very predictable. I haven't been emotionally invested in the character in a very long time, or I've better to say I haven't feared for a character's safety in a very long time. But every single episode, I don't know if Emma, Ray, or Norman, or any of the other kids, I don't know if this is their day to go. Okay, you get to see how they operate and maneuver throughout the orphanage and come up with the best plan, because they only have one opportunity. I think that's what really gets it for me. You only have one opportunity to get this right. The first plan is the last plan, because if they fail, it's safe to say that they get shipped off immediately. I'm just going to say they can't run the risk of these kids being tainted, all right? And while Norman, Ray, and Emma are your main protagonists, you have on the flip side of this one of the best villain antagonists that we've had in a very long time. Okay, on the flip side of this, you have Isabella. Isabella's sole purpose is to raise these children as freely as they can possibly be and make sure that they are happy. All right, so Isabella is a fucking fake. Now that she knows that these kids know the plan, she has to ensure that the kids' plans fail, because if they succeed, who knows what will happen. We don't actually find out in the anime, and I haven't started reading the manga yet, so I have no idea what is going to happen. Just diving a little bit into the character of Isabella, her character is terrifying. A psychological, manipulative, oppressed, loving dictator is the best way I can describe her. Her ability to change the tension of any shot that she is in during the anime is chilling to the absolute core. She demonstrates her level of control over these kids, especially Ray, Norman, and Emma, as she puts on an Oscar-winning facade throughout this season. Because we know that she is responsible for all the orphans and their demise, it's kind of like a smack in the face every time she is coddling or hugging or loving or, assisting these kids that may have fallen down and they're crying. Normal mother stuff that they do to their kids. If they're injured, she feeds them, she bathes them, she does all this stuff, and it's like, yo, she's putting on an award-winning facade right now. And it's not just her presence when it's specifically for her, because she dominates any scene that she's in. Even the scenes that she isn't in, she has left you with this feeling of, what if she's listening in? And this is primarily due to amazing camera angles, which really helps to sell that suspense of the anime. It's conveyed very well on the faces of the kids that know of a mother, that she is bigger, she is faster, she is stronger than Ray, Norman, and Emma, and every other child that is there. You're talking about kids that are 12 and under that are at this orphanage. And on top of that, the fact that she has technology on her side in the form of tracking devices that the kids don't know about. She easily causes despair when she enters a scene, even if she is just in the background or not the main focus of that particular scene. It isn't until the last 4 episodes where she shows you that for the first time who she really is, and she drops the fake smile and she drops the facade, and you get to see a full showing of who she is and just how much of the escape plan she knows. It is just it's just a massive wave of defeat and despair that washes over you as the viewer, as all hope is lost of this ever succeeding. This leads into the final episode where they can't wait anymore and they have to risk it all. They have to risk it all, and the plan is now on and popping in episode 12, the season finale of The Promised Neverland. Without spoiling it, I'm not going to go into episode 12. It is too much. It is too much. I will say the plan is enacted, and they do a good blend of, you get to see Isabella's backstory, which, I mean, if you have some sort of common sense, you could easily tell that Isabella, much like other mothers that have came before her and at the other orphanages, they were orphans themselves in the same orphanage. They just were picked by their previous mothers to go and, take the test to become a mother themselves, to raise up the next generation. These are humans, by the way, if I did not mention that. The mothers and the sisters, they are humans. They get old and they will die of natural causes if they are never eaten by these creatures, which means you have to keep on producing mothers throughout the time. And because of that, she knows how Norman, Ray, and Emma thinks, which she is literally the perfect person to watch these kids and to prevent a potential escape, because she may or may not have wanted to escape herself. She may have found out the secret, and because she found out the secret, they had no choice but to either 1, kill her, or 2, make her a mother. So, and of course there's stipulations and things that you have to go through in order to become a mother. You see that all in episode 12. That's why I'm not going to dive into the details of episode 11 and 12. But look, I'm trying to tell you the twist of some things you predict, but if someone tells you I predicted everything that was going to happen in The Promised Neverland, they're a fucking liar, and don't believe them, because they are dumb as shit. There's no way you predicted all this. Even if you read the manga, you didn't predict all of this, okay? And that's my review. And I'll tell y'all this. If, those questions, people be like, the last anime you watched, you wake up in the last anime that you watched, would you survive? Let me tell you this right now. If I go to sleep and I wake up in the Promised Neverland universe, Jesus and all of his disciples could not catch me on escape day. Faux God, on Odin himself, Usain Bolt's soul would live in me until I made it out that bitch. And you got to keep up. I ain't turning back for no kids, because if it's up to me, fuck them kids. I'm gonna live. Okay, y'all, Emma, Ray, Norman, y'all in? All right. Get all the kids that can run in a straight line and are potty trained, and meet me at that fucking wall. Let's go. I'm going to end that shit like an episode of Kenan and Kel. Just give you a list of shit and then say, come on, Skippy. But that's all I got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed the review. And like always, keep it safe, wrap it tight. I'm out.
That's a hard fail. Get out of there.